Forgetfulness and business ownership. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about forgetfulness and how a lifetime of forgetfulness has driven me into becoming an entrepreneur, and how you can use it to your benefit if you happen to be like me and be somewhat forgetful. First, I want to tell you a little bit about brianjpombo.com. So brianjpombo.com is still overgoing a renovation of sorts. We got hacked last month and we're still reeling from it, still dealing with the issues that came from that. And during the renovation process, it's not exactly always coming up roses. And so during this process, if you happen to be looking at it right now, hopefully it's up and running by this point. But if it's down, be sure and bookmark and go check it out later. brianjpombo.com. We've got nearly an entire year of audios and videos and transcripts going all the way back. All of our nice little discussions that we have here on a weekly basis. Also go check out the Amazon Proof Strategy session, which is a chance for you to be able to sit down with me 45 minutes to an hour, and where we just sit down and decide and I've got a string of questions that I could run you through, and we can decide and create a custom solution for you to become completely competition proof. And it's something that you'll be happy with, or your money back guaranteed. So that is at brianjpombo.com/Amazon. You can check out the Amazon Proof Strategy session. Now, let's talk about forgetfulness. Okay, and when I say I've been forgetful my whole life, I mean my whole life. I mean, since I was a little kid in school, they used to talk about how remarkable, how forgetful I was after going to work for my grandfather on the family cattle ranch. He used to joke about how forgetful I was because they'd give me some things to do, and a lot of it would get done. And then the other things would completely slip my mind, and I'd be on to the next thing. And a week later, they're going, "Well, why didn't this ever happen?" And I'm like, "I forgot." And what it does is it does a few things to you. For one thing, it makes you a really horrible employee. So if you're looking to hire someone to work with you on a regular basis, if they're forgetful, they need to know ways around that. And in most cases, most forgetful people have a very difficult time dealing with it. It's taken me years and years and years to develop little systems to fix that. So if you've ever seen the movie Memento, in the movie Memento, one of the processes that he does, he can't develop new memories. So every memory he has is just extremely short term, and in a few minutes, he's kind of starting again and trying to remember what he was just doing. And so that in the process, he's actually trying to solve the murder of his wife. It's the last thing that he has a really solid memory of. And so he has to leave himself notes. He tattoos messages all over him to try and remember what he's doing and where he's going and who he's finding. So he's trying to solve a mystery when he has no memory. So that's the extreme version. But when you're forgetful your whole life, it's common. You recognize a lot of those things, and having to find ways to remind yourself. So you have to get good at note taking, and then get good at not losing the notepad or keeping notes. That one of the issues is, if you're keeping notes in a phone or anything, you leave it one spot, or you have a bunch of notes that all say the same thing. You forget to go back to the note to begin with. So it's not as simple as just keeping notes. It's more about habits, building up really solid habits. So for your own self, building up really good habits. And so like having a calendar, habits that can kind of build on themselves. So when you have a calendar, if you get used to living off of the calendar and get used to putting things in the calendar and then checking the calendar, if you build up a habit of doing that, that can help out with forgetfulness. Another thing that can help is systems. Honestly, if you can just build in automated systems that handle a whole lot of things that most people take for granted that they'll be able to do over and over and over again, if you're forgetful anything like me, if you have any memory issues, you have to have systems that are constantly running so that you don't have to think about them, because every little piece of memory that is being used is taking away from something else, and so you have to get good at that. And so it's a strange dichotomy. I'm not a very good employee. I am a very good contractor, a very good consultant for people, because I can work very good on the spot, in the moment. If you ask me what was said a week ago, I have to go over my notes. Another thing I do is a lot of recording. And one of the things that people who have worked with me over time have realized that the best way to capture my thoughts and to remind me about them is to videotape them or audio tape them. Sean Douglas, our producer, is one that's really taught me the value of that. And so it's been one of these things I've taken advantage of. Every meeting I'm in, I attempt to record, either by video or audio or both. So that's a couple tips that you can use, but it can also really make a big difference to know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, and be willing to hire out your weaknesses. So I hire people to help out with my memory. I hire people to be able to remind me of things. I have systems in order to remind me of things and to keep things running so that I don't have to think about them or remember them on a regular basis. I don't know if that's helpful to you. This is kind of a random topic today, but it was something that just kind of popped in my head, and I figured I might as well bring it up before I forgot it. So you have a great night. We'll see you back tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.